Hey everybody, welcome to Enliven Wellness. My name is Tessa Gurley and I am honored and blessed and excited to be here. This is where the missing pieces to your health puzzle come together. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to everyone out there who is like a regular commenter, a regular watcher and contributor, and also to all my one-on-ones. I love you all so much, so shout out to all of you. Please comment and like and subscribe. It really does help. If you are a jerk, I will delete you. I say that every video. It's my channel. You don't have to be here. Okay, so I've had a lot of requests, so I decided to make a video this week about your adrenal glands. So let's talk about stress, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the shitty things you do when you're stressed. Okay, yeah, I mean, seriously, like, I was the stress queen. And it's been at the basis of literally everything I do. I used to do what I like to call Chihuahua Syndrome, where I'd get so stressed that I'd just be like shaky like a little chihuahua, right? And like too much information overload, and those of us with like SIRS and like who have struggled with that in the past, or just like those of you out there who are struggling with stress, it's the biggest epidemic of our time, in my opinion, and it's at the root cause of every issue. Okay, so there's good stress and there's bad stress. Wait, back up. This is a video on how to teach you how to actually heal your adrenal glands without drugs, even without supplements, okay? This is the number one way that you can heal your adrenal glands. It's going to take practice, it's going to take patience, and it's going to take you actually doing something than just popping a pill or a supplement. But this is the way to heal your adrenal glands, people. This is how you do it. Okay? What do you think it is? Meditation. Let me explain how. Okay, so there's this thing which you might have heard of called the HPA axis. Hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal axis. For now, let's just call it the HPA axis. Got it? Okay. Who's on the top stream? The hypothalamus. Who's next in line? The pituitary. Who is next in line? Your little cute adrenal glands that sit on top of your kidneys. Okay, so you have your hypothalamus in your brain, your pituitary gland in your brain, and then your adrenal glands, which sit on your kidneys. These three things are partially responsible for your stress response. That's what we're focusing on today. So, I'm all about getting to the root of things. I hope you are too. It's the most effective way to heal things is to get to the root, right? And what's the root? Hypothalamus. Allow me to clarify how this helps your adrenal glands and how meditation helps your hypothalamus, which then in turn helps your adrenal glands, which then in turn helps your stress. It's all related, and you can see how all these pieces come together. Okay? So let's define stress. Stress is any physical, emotional, environmental, spiritual, psychological, any factor that throws you off of balance and into the fight, flight, or freeze mode. They leave out the freeze mode. I'll talk about that later. But the fight, flight, or freeze mode, aka you are running from a tiger, okay? That's a stressor. Now, the problem with stress today is that we are not dealing with acute stressors like said tiger running after us about to eat our face, right? That's the kind of stress that we were supposed to be responding to, which makes sense. If a tiger's running at my face, I want to be able to sprint away and feel stressed and then shake it off and be like, woo, that was quite the day. Now I'm going to eat some food and digest it properly. Nowadays we're dealing with this white noise, underlying chronic stress. And this is akin to running a marathon versus doing sprints. So this kind of stress that we're dealing with today is a lot more detrimental on the body, believe me. And I'm not dissing marathon runners, but y'all are not doing the best things for your body. Just saying, I'm an ex-runner. I used to be a big time runner, but it's not great for you. And if think about it, you're constantly running a stress marathon as opposed to high intensity, which is awesome if you're a lifter, or a workout. If you like to do working out, you should. Anyway, that's a whole other video. But that it's like running chronic marathons of stress versus like these little sprints. Okay, so your hypothalamus is constantly releasing the hormone known as corticotropin releasing hormone, CRH. From now on, is how I'll talk about it. It's constantly releasing CRH, which then stimulates your pituitary gland, which then says to your adrenal glands, and there's two parts of your adrenal glands. You have the adrenal cortex, which is the outside, and the adrenal medulla, which is the inside. Okay? So hypothalamus says like stress, boop, pituitary gland says stress, boop, and then it goes down to your adrenal glands and they go, boom, we're releasing the hormones now. Okay? And your adrenal cortex releases cortisol, and your adrenal medulla releases norepinephrine and epinephrine. I'm not going to use the colloquial terms for it because we're going to nerd out today. So we're going to call it epi and norepi in your adrenal medulla, which is in your adrenal gland. Okay? So when you're stressed, that CRH is stimulating the pituitary gland to stimulate your adrenal glands, which is like telling your adrenal glands to just keep working too much. Keep running that marathon, adrenal glands. Keep running that marathon and beating yourself into the ground. Even though it's not this acute stressor, it's that low-grade marathon, like white noise, constant, never-ending stress that's causing your adrenal dysfunction. Okay? And that's why a lot of the time, suddenly, you'll have like one of those acute stressors, and then boom! Like every client that I have has a situation in their life where it's like they had this low grade thing going on and building up, and then suddenly, bam, huge trauma, crash, SIRS symptoms, boom, all these things show up. Okay? So, and then you always talk about adrenal dysfunction. This is at the root cause of it. Now, how do you fix it with meditation? Let's get to the solution. So I hope everyone's clear that the hypothalamus releases the hormone that then does the downstream cascade to affect your adrenal glands and their functioning. Okay? So if we can target the hypothalamus to relax, then your adrenal glands will relax. And you will have less anxiety, and you will have a healthier stress response, and your adrenal glands will start to heal. See all the pieces? Okay. So, what they've shown with meditation is that meditation decreases the release of norepinephrine from your adrenal glands, which then goes back upstream to the pituitary gland, which says, oh, I don't need to release as much of that hormone. And then your hypothalamus goes, oh, I can chill out. I don't have to release so much of that corticotropin-releasing hormone, that CRH. Okay, so your hypothalamus is very much involved in stress, the stress response, obviously. And meditation quiets that stress response, which then calms your anxiety, which then calms your adrenal glands, which then allows your symptoms to get better because everything is heightened under stress. All of your symptoms will show up more when you're under stress. Okay? You won't sleep well, you'll have more inflammation, all the things. Okay? So, by decreasing your stress response with meditation, you're targeting your hypothalamus to then decrease everything else, all that stress, all that worry, all that anxiety. And when you think stress, think adrenal glands from now on, okay? They've actually shown in this study, and I've got it right here. I was really excited because I'm a nerd and I like to nerd out for you guys. But, okay, so I found a study, and it was influence of mindfulness practice being one of my favorite types of meditation, on cortisol and sleep in long-term and short-term meditators. So this study took 20 participants. Granted, it was a small study, but still pretty exciting. And they took 9 people who had long-term experience in meditation, aka 264 months, so a pretty long time. And then 11 novices, like who just did meditation for 8 weeks. Like they were like newbies and they were just going to do meditation for 8 weeks. Okay? And then they took cortisol samples at the beginning and the end of the course. And to assess the cortisol awakening response, 4 morning cortisol samples were collected. Now, morning cortisol sample is a really important biomarker of your stress response. A normal cortisol curve looks something like this. Let's draw this here. And then right between 6 and 9, it kind of peaks, and then it goes down. And then you can have variations off of that. Okay, and if your cortisol pattern is like much more like choppy or like flattened, you've got an adrenal thing going on, most likely. Okay, well, it's always related to your adrenals with that. But what they showed in this study was people who had long-term meditation experience, morning cortisol decreased with the length of experience. For novices, for those people who just started, also their morning cortisol levels decreased, okay? Which is good. If you're overly stressed, it tends to be like there's a really high spike. Now, if you're flatlining, this is still going to help, okay? And I'll explain that in another video, but just know that whether or not you're flatlining with your cortisol curve, if you're like already getting these measures taken, or if it's too high, by decreasing that morning cortisol, you're going to overall regulate and create a more healthy cortisol curve. What does this do? It allows you to sleep better. It allows you to have less chronic anxiety, less inflammation, less symptoms. It's all very important, okay? It's all very linked. And where can you start? Start at the root, which is your hypothalamus. In other videos I'm going to talk about the amygdala. So I'm going to do this kind of video again next week, but in relation to your amygdala, which is also very linked to your stress response, then your adrenal glands and your anxiety and your symptoms, all the things, all the pieces coming together, right? So, bottom line, meditation helps decrease your stress response, which is at the root of all of your adrenal dysfunction. Because it's like if you have inflammation in your body, right, then your stress response goes up too. And, if you're having all these symptoms, then the stress just increases those, which then increases your stress, and then it's this horrible cycle. Check out my video about the real cause of your sickness. I've got a whole video on stress and your symptoms. But for now, I really advise you to undertake a mindfulness practice, even just 5 minutes a day. I have a video I did last week on a mindful listening exercise that you can do. It's really simple. That's mindfulness meditation. Try it out. Decrease your overall stress response. Heal those little adrenal glands that have been running that marathon. And you will regulate your HPA axis. And then you'll heal your adrenal glands. It's free, y'all. It's not a supplement. It's free, but you have to do it. But the benefits are huge. I hope this was helpful. I'm so excited to be here. I love doing these videos for you. If you want more guidance on how to decrease your stress, on how to heal your adrenal glands, message me at the email down below. I do a free 10 to 15 minute phone call just to see how we jive. And then from there, we can work together. And again, just thank you to everyone out there. I truly love you so much. And it's an honor to be here. So thank you so much. Until next week, bye.